across, a few days ago about Wilt Chamberlain and Michael Jordan. And there was a conversation that Wilt Chamberlain had with Michael. I believe it was at they was inducting the 50th anniversary team. He said something to Michael Jordan that was interesting. He said that the reason why you dominate because they changed the rules for you to dominate. He was referring to Michael Jordan. And he said that when I played, they changed the rules to keep me from dominating. Wilt Chamberlain. So my question that I have in the thumbnail is who, Michael Jordan or Wilt Chamberlain, who made a bigger impact on the NBA? It's a good question. Yes, Michael Jordan did his thing. He came to, the league blazing, averaging about like 28.2 points a game. He was dominant, rookie of the year. He broke his foot the second year, came back, scored 63 points. He was a force. He was a guy that couldn't be stopped. Quick first step, get to the basket, dunking on people, the athleticism, the jump shooting. He didn't have that three-point arsenal in his game until later in his career, but he was a guy that was a force to be reckoned with once he came to the league. And then you start seeing the joint rules and questions about how can you stop Michael Jordan? How can you stop him? He's a one-man team and all this other stuff. A two-guard can't win a championship. Obviously, that he changed that narrative when he won the 6 championships. But the thing is, he was dominant. When you look at Wilt, he scored 100 points in the game against the Knicks. In '62, he dominated as a scorer, as a rebounder. He did it all. He did it all. He could do it all. I'm saying he was that guy, Wilt Chamberlain. But the rules changed according to him. Now he wouldn't lie about this. He said it to Michael Jordan. He once told Michael that they changed the rules to stop me. They changed them to help you. And see, that's the thing. That's why the question comes to mind. Michael Jordan or Wilt Chamberlain, who made a bigger impact in NBA history? Who made a bigger impact? You can make a case Wilt made a bigger impact because, like I said, they changed the rules to stop him from dominating. He told Michael that they changed the rules for Michael to dominate. So no wonder he was so good on the perimeter. So no wonder he was so good in the open court. Because there was a luncheon in 1997 NBA All-Star Game luncheon. And there was a legendary moment that unfolded between the greatest players ever, Wilt Chamberlain and Michael Jordan. And according to numerous reports, Wilt Chamberlain leaned in and said something to Michael Jordan that struck like a thunderbolt of historical truth. Shout out to the 32 people that are tuning in. Like and subscribe. Subscribe to the channel, man. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe. Come on. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. He said, just remember, Michael, when you played, they changed the rules of basketball to make it easier for you to dominate. When I played, they changed the rules to make it harder for me. That's what he said to Michael Jordan. Just remember, Michael, when you played, they changed the rules of basketball to make it easier for you to dominate. When I played, they changed the rules to make it harder for me. So that's not just a bold claim. It's a fact that was rooted in decades of basketball. So you make a case that Wilt Chamberlain had a bigger impact on the game than Michael Jordan. He said it that they changed the rules to keep him from dominating. They kept him from dominating. They made it harder for him. But when Michael was dominating basketball, it was easy for him because they changed the rules. So I'm going to break down why the rules was changed. The evidence. Here it is. Wilt Chamberlain was one of the most physically dominant athletes the sports had ever seen. So you look at the NBA, that scrambled to level the playing field during his reign. So in contrast, look at Michael Jordan. He played in an era where several rules were adjusted in ways that coincidentally or not enhanced perimeter scoring and protected stars like him from physical punishment. Obviously, the bad boy Pistons were beating him up, making it tough for him. But again, that's basketball. Physical play is physical play. So look at Wilt Chamberlain. The NBA literally altered the rules because of his dominance. The lane was widened from 12 feet to 16 feet in 1964. The infamous paint to push Wilt further from the basket. It was informally called the Wilt rule. Before that, he would simply park himself near the rim and score at will. Secondly, you look at the offensive goaltending was strictly enforced to prevent him from tipping shots off the rim, something he excelled at. Thirdly, the league revised the inbounding rule. When the ball was being thrown in from the baseline, Wilt was banned from leaping over defenders to grab it midair and dunk it. And finally, they even created rules preventing free throw shooters like Wilt from leaping over the line, since he used to take a step and dunk the free throw. These rules didn't just slow Wilt, they rewrote the geometry of the game to limit his impact. So when you look at it, yes, Wilt had a bigger impact on the game of basketball in the NBA than Michael Jordan did. Like he said, he told Michael to him, they changed the rules to make it harder for me to dominate. When you played, they changed the rules to make it easier for you to dominate. So that it was easier for Michael to dominate. So you see all the scoring that he was doing and all that other stuff. Again, he was dealing with the Pistons, the physical play of the Knicks and all that stuff. But some of the rules changed. I'm gonna go over that right now. Look at the Jordan era, right? In the late 80s, right? In the early 90s, the NBA began enforcing hand checking rules, more strictly, particularly on the perimeter. So this gave guards like Michael Jordan more space to operate and less physical resistance from defenders. See? So by the mid 1990s, hand checking was almost entirely eliminated above the free throw line, making isolation scoring easier. Illegal defense rules also helped Jordan. Defenders were restricted from playing zone or cheating too far off their man, meaning that true one-on-one matchups were enforced, tailor-made for a superstar like MJ, like Michael Jordan. Again, hit the like button, man, if you like this content talking about Wilt Chamberlain and Michael Jordan, who had a bigger impact on NBA history. It may be, I gotta go with Wilt Chamberlain. He made the bigger impact than Michael. And I just read to you why Michael Jordan was so successful, because the rule change. Mid 90s, hand check was almost entirely eliminated above the free throw line, making isolation and scoring easier. Illegal defense rules helped Michael Jordan. Defenders were restricted from playing zone or cheating too far off their man, meaning that true one-on-one matchups were enforced, tailor-made for Michael Jordan. And while Wilt Chamberlain had to battle through triple teams in the post, Jordan also then got to attack defenders one-on-one in space. Jordan's game also benefited from the evolution of flagrant foul rules and heightened focus on protecting offensive players. For example, the league clamped down on hard fouls, made examples of overly physical teams like the Bad Boy Pistons, a group that had famously roughed up Jordan in the late 80s. So by the time Jordan hit his peak, the game had been reshaped to highlight finesse, speed, perimeter scoring, all strengths of Michael Jordan. So Wilt Chamberlain was not wrong. While Jordan is rightfully celebrated as a GOAT, like a lot of people think he is, Wilt Chamberlain lived through an NBA that feared his dominance so much they changed the rules to hold him back. So with Michael Jordan, he saw it in the league that cleared the runway for takeoff for him to just dominate and do his thing. So that's the thing. That's the question I have in the thumbnail. Wilt Chamberlain, Michael Jordan, who had a bigger impact on NBA history. Had a bigger impact. I gotta say Wilt Chamberlain. He came before Michael. And he was altered with his dominance by the NBA, changing the rules for him. So you can make a case, Wilt Chamberlain may have been the greatest ever. But people gonna say, oh, he didn't win that many championships. Yes, he won 2 championships, 1966, 1967, 76ers, and 71, 72 Lakers. Legendary teams, great teams. I mean, those teams, were great. That Lakers team won 69 games. The team in 67, they won like 68 games, I believe. So when you look at it, he played on legendary teams. But the thing is, he dominated. And they changed the game. They changed the rules to keep him from dominating. Michael Jordan dominated for a reason because they changed the rules to make him more dominant. So does that make Michael Jordan the greatest ever? Maybe not. Now, I've seen Michael Jordan. I think he's the best I've ever seen. I was going by what I saw in my lifetime when I watched basketball. But I didn't see Wilt Chamberlain live. I seen films on him and games and all that. But I can't see him in real life. But he had to go through all this kind of nonsense to have the rules changed because they wanted him to stop dominating. That's not good for him. But that makes it well done for him. Good for him because he dominated the game that they kept him from dominating. That's the thing that stands out with this topic that I wanted to talk about. Because he definitely changed the rules, man. They changed the rules, man, in the NBA to keep Wilt from dominating. Everything was so easy for Michael Jordan to do what he did. You know what I'm saying? Yes, the Pistons beat him up, but that's part of basketball. It's physical play. They can be dirty sometimes, but it's physical. So no wonder Jordan dominated because the rules changed for him. I just brought it up. Yep. So you make a case, man, is Wilt Chamberlain the greatest ever? With all the rules that were changed for him to keep him from dominating the game. You know, this guy could score 100 points. The guy was dominant, and they kept him from dominating like he should through the rules that they implemented. What they do that with Jordan? When Jordan played, there was no rule change to stop Jordan from dominating. He was dominating all the time, you know, because the rules. Yep. So that comes to the question, man. Is Michael Jordan truly the greatest ever? No. You can't say he's the greatest ever. If he's going through all this, rule change that made things better for him. Even Isaiah Thomas once said on a Cedric Maxwell podcast, I don't know when he said it, he said that every time you hit him, he was crying, going to David Stern's office, having a meeting about getting hit. He was referring to Michael Jordan. And then he said, I watched Dr. J get beat up. I watched Magic get beat up. But wait a minute. Now we got to change the rules because he's getting hit. Think about that. Think about that. Michael Jordan had the rules changed in his favor because he was getting hit. But it's a physical game, ain't it? That's what the game is about. Physicality. So when Wilt Chamberlain told Michael Jordan about the GOAT debate, about the great ever, he said the difference between you and me is that they had to change the rules for me so I couldn't dominate. They changed the rules for you, Jordan, so that you could dominate. That's why people always gonna say, oh, Michael's the greatest ever. He's the greatest ever. Well, because they changed the rules. So you can make a case that 90s may have been the softest, weakest era. Because when you look at the 80s, it was physical. Then again, the bad boy Pistons, I can't show, what the Boston Celtics was doing with the Lakers, they were physical. Clothesline by, Kurt Rambis, Kevin McHale clothesline at Rambis. It was physical. It was physical in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? People got into fights. It was physical in the 80s. But when the 90s came, you can make a case it was a weak, soft era. I got the evidence right here. Number one, multiple expansion teams. 6 came from 1988 to 1995. Because you had the Minnesota Timberwolves, Toronto Raptors, Vancouver Grizzlies, who's now in Memphis, Orlando Magic, Miami Heat, Charlotte Hornets. I don't know if there was 6 teams right there. See, number one, you had the Miami Heat, Charlotte Hornets, Minnesota Timberwolves, Vancouver Grizzlies, Toronto Raptors, Orlando Magic, Miami Heat, Charlotte Hornets, Minnesota Timberwolves. So we'll start again. Miami Heat, Orlando Magic, Charlotte Hornets, Minnesota Timberwolves, Vancouver Grizzlies, and Toronto Raptors. That's 6 teams. So when you look at it, no wonder Michael Jordan dominated. And no wonder that Bulls team in 96 dominated. Because the talent was diluted. You know what I'm saying? You had the Vancouver Grizzlies and Toronto Raptors. I think they made a debut that year in 95. So there's evidence, man, that Jordan dominated, but the rules were changed because of Michael. Another thing too, illegal defense, no zones until 2001. Flagrant foul was created in 1991. Added another referee in 1989. 1993, harsher fines and penalties. 3 shots for 3-point fouls. 1994, they shortened the 3-point line from 1994 to 1997. 28 free throws per game. League average. Mid-court, 10 seconds. Shortened to 8 in 2001. Best of 5 first round series. Less games, soft. No defense being played. 61.9%. Excuse me. No defense being played. 61.9% of all possessions resulted in points. And you had lack of elite guards because only 11 players listed as guards averaged 19 plus points per game or more from 1990 to 1999. Only 11 players listed as guards averaged 19 plus points per game or more from 1990 to 1999 throughout the 90s. So only 11 players. So it wasn't that elite guards. And I remember Michael Jordan doing his thing in the playoffs. He went up against Gerald Wilkins with the Knicks. He went up against John Starks of the Knicks. Are they not elite guards? No. No, Dan Raleigh in the finals against Phoenix. Jeff Hornacek, in the finals against Utah. Okay, he went up against Clyde in 92. Okay, Byron Scott, all right. Hersey Hawkins. Okay, sometimes, Gary Payton guarded Michael. And Gary Payton was great. He was the glove for a reason. He was a great defensive player. But again, this is a lot of stuff that I wanted to present with this topic by what I saw, what I researched on with Wilt. Yeah, Michael Jordan is not the greatest ever. He's the greatest I've seen in my lifetime because I watched basketball for a long time since the late 80s. But I don't think he's the best ever because when you look at the fact that Wilt Chamberlain had to have the rules changed for him to not to dominate. They changed the rules for Michael Jordan to dominate because the rules. They were so physical with the age, the bad boy Pistons and things that they were doing to him. Isaiah Thomas, I read it. He complained to the league about him getting hit. He was crying to David Stern, getting hit. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing about it, man. So that's the thing that stands out as far as that's concerned. Yep. Is Michael Jordan truly the greatest ever? No. He's the greatest I've ever seen, yes. But is he the greatest, truly the greatest ever? No. If the rules had to be changed for Michael Jordan to dominate, and when Wilt was playing, he was dominating, but they changed the rules to keep him from dominating, you gotta make Wilt Chamberlain maybe the greatest ever. Because he helped change the rules. That kept him from dominating. There was nothing against Michael that kept him from dominating. He was able to dominate because the rules changed for him. The physicality of it. So you make case the 90s, basketball was soft and weak compared to the 80s. Or any era, according to what it said here. The expansion teams, there were 6 expansion teams at that time. Everything I just went over. That made it easier for Michael Jordan to dominate the game of basketball. Yep. See, those Pistons teams were game changers also because the physicality of what they did changed everything. The flagrant fouls and all this stuff. That would mean if you got a hard foul, got into a fight in the 80s, no, you didn't have to get ejected. Get suspended. I think you played the next game. It was just a foul. A common foul. There was no such thing as a flagrant foul. Because again, according to the research, the flagrant foul was created in 1991. That's 35 years ago. So there was no such thing as flagrant foul. So that's saying like if the Pistons like a Rick Mahorn or Bill Lambert, Dennis Rodman give a hard foul, they're not gonna call it flagrant. It's just a common foul. It can be dirty and physical, but it's a foul. So that's why is Michael Jordan the best? No. In that way. I think he's the greatest I've seen, yes. But he's truly the greatest? No. If the rules are changed in his favor. Wilt Chamberlain had rules changed against him to keep him from dominating the game of basketball. He was dominating in his time. And they had to change the rules because he wasn't, they didn't want him to dominate. So they made it easy for Michael to dominate. That's what was said over a conversation at the All-Star game in 1997. At the All-Star break. All-Star game luncheon. That conversation started. Yep. That's the year that they inducted the 50th, all the great 50 players because that was the 50th year of the NBA. So that comes the conversation. So I'm gonna end this live feed right now. I'm gonna get ready for another live feed at 1:45. Thanks for those who tuning in. Hit the like button. I see a one like button. Also subscribe to the channel. Got great content coming, man. I got a lot lined up moving forward, man. It's gonna impact you with great content. So got a lot of scheduled live streams coming up. A lot of work I'm gonna be doing with my content. It's gonna be good, man. Just subscribe to the channel. Appreciate the support. It's gonna be off and popping. I see the channel growing, man. Last week I got 8 new subscribers. I just saw recently this past week from May 11th to May 17th, there were 22 new subscribers. So all the 30 subscribers, welcome aboard. Continue to be a loyal subscriber. Appreciate the support. 30 subscribers in total. 8 the previous week from May 4th to May 10th. I got 8 new subscribers. So from May 11th to May 17th, I got 22 new subscribers. So you do the math, 22 plus 8, that's 30 subscribers. So I'm saying, so keep it going, keep it moving. This is a new week. I focus on this new week and see how many subscribers I get this week. Take it one week at a time, but this channel is growing, and I appreciate the support. Continue to support this channel. I'm gonna end the live feed right now. There's been a great discussion about Wilt Chamberlain and Michael Jordan, who made a bigger impact on NBA history. You can make a case. It was Wilt Chamberlain that made a bigger impact than Michael Jordan did because they changed the rules to keep him from dominating. He told Michael Jordan that, and he told Michael Jordan the reason why he dominated because they changed the rules for him to dominate, to make it easier for him to dominate. They made it harder in his time for him to dominate. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain. Wilt Chamberlain had to deal with a lot of rule changes against him. When you look at Michael Jordan, what rules would change for him not to dominate? He was dominating all the time. Even when he came back from baseball, playing baseball, he was dominating. It was tailor-made for him to dominate. You know what I'm saying? There's a reason. Stuff that Isaiah Simon said on the Cedric Maxwell podcast. He was complaining to the crying to David Stern about getting hit. So there it is. So I'm done today. I'll be back at 1:45 for an interview that I did a few years back with Pat Riley. Not Pat Riley the head coach Pat Riley coached the Lakers, the Knicks, and the Miami Heat. This Pat Riley kid played for the Miami Hurricanes. Very underrated defensive tackle from Louisiana. You don't hear his story, his journey as a Hurricane player. Very underrated defensive line, but he's a big guy. I mean, for his size, man, he's just big time. Wore number 43, big time underrated defensive tackle. That's gonna be an interview that I'm gonna replay at 1:45. I did this when I was a radio host on the Rashad Mitchell show back in I did that for a long time. I'm gonna get specific about the years, but a few years back I did this interview with this gentleman, played with the University of Miami, and Paul Great Times, Dennis Erickson, stuff like that. So we're gonna get into that, and that'll be it. And later on tonight, I'll be doing a 1981 Los Angeles Dodgers retrospective because the 45th anniversary of the Dodgers winning their first World Series, I think since 1963, because they have been in the World Series in 1977-78, but they didn't win it. They lost to the Yankees. And they finally beat the Yankees in '81. So that's what I'm gonna be talking about. So, to subscribe, man, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll be back pretty soon, in about 20 minutes, with another live feed. Till then, talk to you soon.